Good morning, all. How's everybody doing well, afternoon by 1 minute out here in beautiful Vancouver, BC. So, today is an interesting day. Finally, the CBC, Robin Urbett, wrote a report or opinion piece on the Trudeau Groping incident. It happened 18 years ago in Cruston. You remember I talked about this when it first came out, um, and the Toronto Sun had broke the story basically at that time, and they had put out the editorial where it was saying that Trudeau apologized for not that he it was an allegation. He apologized for groping. I went through this in a few videos. That's a few weeks ago now. So finally, somebody in the mainstream media, even though it is an opinion piece, and Robin also said the CBC is investigating it. Now, I don't have a whole lot of faith in being that they do support the Liberal Party. I mean, not to take anything away from her. I'm not a big fan of hers, but she was quite point blank, and she did bring up a lot of questions. And she did point out that Trudeau, basically, he's death by your own words. That would be Trudeau. So, but she points out a lot of good things of what he said in the past about this. This all applies to me. This is unacceptable. We got to look. Doesn't matter how far back we go. I'm a feminist. I'm a feminist. I'm even more of a feminist. Still drinking coffee. So we look at it. Where is our prime minister at on this issue? Well, the last word that they had, because the National Post also ran a story on it, and it was pretty watered down, and I'm not surprised. But you really didn't ask anything. It was more, here it is. This is why, 18 years ago he was young. Gee whiz, sucks to be that woman. That's unfortunate, but I mean, it is what it is. But it's glad to see that Robin Urbeck at least got the backbone to stand up and actually put that out there. Um, and believe me, I went on to CBC because I'm banned there with a kind of, I don't like going there. There are YouTubes where I can actually leave comments. I will. But it's interesting what see happen. Lisa Raitt also put out a story asking the same questions, and like about Trudeau. Finally, Pierre Poilievre finally said about free speech in Canada. This is where we go. Quite honestly, I was pretty distressed when the Conservative Party said, in the trade war thing, they were back in Trudeau. It doesn't matter where you fall on the spectrum of things. I'll give you my look at it here. Okay, Trump comes up, tells Trudeau, look, and this is the short version. Look, we want a bilateral deal because we're going to punish the hell out of Mexico. So, there's no need. We should punish you. Trudeau says, no, Mexico's my two amigos, the bro, but whatever. So Trump said, fine. Then Trudeau went mouthing off, and believe it or not, you talk, and I know people are going to say, well, Trump said, I don't care. I don't pay taxes in freaking United States. I pay taxes here to our idiot prime minister, who should start looking out for his country, and he's not. He hasn't. I mean, you can feel the tension out here when you go walk around. Go talk to people. I mean, just talk to people you don't know. Just ask them. And I do that. I go around and I guess, now that I've said that, I'm going to start doing interviews, but, talk to people. You can feel it's palatable. The tension that's out there. I mean, it's like building powder keg, that something's going to give. And like I said before, I've said this a long time ago, there's a fight coming, you know. Pierre Poilievre had said, about free speech. We're losing it. The prime minister is against free speech. Well, gee, I'm glad somebody waking up finally. That's what this is about. It's about the left is controlling the narrative. Oh, we can't do this. Feminism. The motion 103, Islamophobia. The transgender. Look, I got respect for everybody. I don't care what you are. That doesn't even enter the picture. I talk to you as a person. And that's it. If you're an idiot, you're an idiot. That's not my fault. That's your fault. That's where it goes. I mean, and I hope everybody takes that step. The other part is if you come and talk facts. Because if you're not using all the facts and you're cherry picking them, that makes them, they're not facts anymore. Now they're false. So go with that. But it's finally good to see people waking up in the Conservative Party, that are going and say, hey, we're under attack. Yeah, we've been under attack for 3 years by this moron. So what does that mean for us Canadians? Well, we have watched our rights and freedoms slowly wither away. I've said all this before. We are one of the most controlled countries in the world. I mean, gun control, no matter where you stand on it. I mean, now the criminals got the guns. Prove me wrong. You know, you don't think that free speech is under attack. Islamophobia, go out and start talking about Islamic. They're not a race of people. It's a freaking religion. Come on. It's just like everybody's gone mental all of a sudden. Like the IQ of the country gone crazy. I was watching today on YouTube a guy talking about left wing rhetoric in universities in Canada, who are publicly funded for the most part, by us, the taxpayer. Gee, imagine that. And what he's saying is 60-1 are left wing professors pushing a left wing agenda on to our people going through university. The victim stuff. You're a victim. Everybody's a victim, and it's all the fault of these rich people. That's all the fault of the conservative people. That's all the fault of the libertarians. So if you're a libertarian to the right, you're wrong. You don't even have to open your mouth and they will not let you speak. Now, is that right or wrong? And one day, we're going to have to all stand up together. And again, I have said this, let's have a talk. I mean, now it's starting to get more exposed, but gee, let's get the wheels turning here. And I'm not advocating violence. I'm just saying, like, look, if it comes down to it and you're talking with the person, shut them down. I don't mean by that by using facts. All the facts. I mean, sometimes you're going to run into things that you're not going to like the facts because it doesn't pull your narrative. That doesn't make them any. They're still facts. I find a lot of things. Gee whiz, I wish that had. That wasn't a fit, but it is. I got to take that into account when I look at things. Things maybe I don't agree with, but it's still a fact. And that balances your opinion on what's going on there. And it has to be that way. That comes by reading. And you've already heard what I said last time about that. So where does that leave us? Let's start making some groups here. Where we go out and where we can, free speech groups, where we can talk about ideas, like our universities are supposed to do, ideas about free speech, our Constitution. I really doubt that a lot of people even know what's in our Canadian Constitution. I could be wrong, but, by looking at what's going on, I really doubt it. Well, let's start talking about the Constitution. Let's start talking about our Prime Minister, what he's doing. Let's start talking about, the feminism thing, pay inequality, the lesbian, the gay rights, all that stuff. Let's get it on the table. Let's talk about it. Because right now it's one-sided. Everybody's a victim. Like, oh, we can't talk about it, and if you disagree with me, you're automatically wrong. That's not a conversation. That's not a debate. That's just being bullheaded, or in my word, a freaking idiot. Okay, so that's it. I'm willing to sit down with anybody and everybody and talk about things. And if I don't know something, I will say it. I will listen to what somebody else says. And you have to. To be able to have a constructive conversation and be able to move ahead, we have to sit and talk all together. Now, we're not talking just individual relationships here. We're talking about our country. Because, quite honestly, my prediction is if this keeps going, because what's happening in the United States is filtering over here, because you don't see the Trump seems to be the thing there. The people in Canada think he's the worst thing that happened. Trudeau gets away with bloody murder here, but Trump's bad. And what's going to happen all across North America is one incident is going to ignite the powder keg. And it will take a while, not that long, maybe a month, and it will snowball. And then you're going to start seeing more violence, more conflict. This is where we're going. This is it. If we're not talking to each other, this is what's going to happen. Call it fear mongering, whatever. I don't care what you call it, but that you'd be blind if you don't think that's going to take place. So we've got to get out there and we got to start opening dialogues with people you can talk to. Obviously, going up to people who are going to sit there and chant, you know, conservative go home or whatever the hell they're talking about, nor people like Antifa, forget it. They're a lost cause. You're never going to get anywhere with them. Just everybody, people like you and me. Let's sit down and start having a conversation and start making this happen. Because if we don't, bad things are going to come, and I guarantee you don't like it. And I've also always said that if you don't talk about things and you push things into the shadow, you sure the hell ain't going to like what's coming out of the shadow at you later on. And it will come. And that's where we're going. So I really impress upon everybody to have a look also at our immigration. What's happening? We're approaching probably close to 15,000 people already this year. Some of the numbers haven't been get out. Um, yeah, and there's always that nice slant put on it. You know, we're helping people. I've got two things to say to that. Who's paying for it? Or question: Who's paying for it? I don't think everybody knows the answer to that. And what are we doing with these people? And the third question would be: I'm going to ask three. Uh, would be: Is that affecting people who are entering here illegally? Or legally, pardon me. You know, the illegals, are they taking precedent over the legal people trying to get into our country legally? Looking at the resources they're having to expend, it doesn't make sense what the minister's saying in public, because where are these people coming from? You know, something's going to suffer unless you've majorly expanded the system. Something's going to suffer, and obviously they don't like giving out numbers and that because they like hiding them. And we're not talking about the conservatives at Harper here. We're talking about Justin Trudeau's liberals. Yeah, you know, the guys that are worse than Harper? Hard to believe, isn't it? But yet, here we are. So, anyways, take a look at that. See how many people are crossing. And that's people we know about. How many people are coming in here? I mean, we got the largest open border in the world. How many people are coming across illegally? You know, is it fair? And I'm not talking about kids and all this stuff here. That's whatever. I mean, you're going to come in here, you're going to drag your kids in the United States, you're going to drag your kids through the desert, cross a river, all that stuff with people raping people, murdering people, you know, which does happen. Yeah, does that make them responsible parents? Then if you say, well, you know, they need to be together with their family, well, then your idea of a responsible parent and mine are entirely different. So, I mean, it's thing to have a look at. That thing's out there, you know. That's not me. I'm not saying entirely I'm a responsible parent, but you know, I'm not putting my grandkids at risk doing stuff like that. Yeah, fair enough. I live in this country. Well, gee whiz. The other one I want to bring up is if we are taking the best and the brightest out of those countries, what are we doing to those countries for those who are left behind? Food for thought, something to think about. What are they supposed to do? So we're going to empty out the rest of the world, bring them all here, and redeem them, because that's basically what we're trying to do. And I guarantee you, there's no redemption, because the way things are going, they're going to turn into what they left. And if you don't believe me, take a look around. This is what I mean about being honest. Take a look at what's going around. Not just one example, a broad example. Not just say, oh, well, I know this person. Oh, well, this family is good. Okay, that's one out of how many thousand? Let's take a broad perspective. I've got a pretty good window on it here with the Syrians, I see. And I'm not against them. I don't got nothing against them. It's just the government dropped them here. Now they are a group all their own. Some of them said they don't want to learn English. They're well happy speaking their language with no interactions with any of us. That's a fact. That you can't even dispute that. So what does that mean for us? And we're supporting these people. So, you know, and remember also your prime minister said we don't have an identity as a country. Yes, our prime minister Trudeau said that to you all. So you might want to remember that the next time you think about it. So the only way around this is let's get out there. Let's start talking to people. Let's start getting out there and discussing it with each other. Let's open up a huge dialogue all over. I'd say protest, but you know, okay, protest, everybody protests and stuff. Let's start talking. And then after we get somewhat down, confirmed to where we want to be, then we start bringing our MPs in and saying, okay, look, this is what you are going to do. I don't care about the party line. I'll go with that. You're working for us. This is what we're going to do. Because we got to start taking back the control because we've lost it. I'm getting tired of being told, oh, this is good for you. You know, carbon tax. Oh, this is good for you. Nobody knows why, but it is. So I'm going to cut it short. But anyways, let me know what you think. Subscribe in the bottom. Leave a comment. Please use facts. If you don't like something, explain why. I will answer all of them best I can. If you want to get a hold of me, let me know in the comment section down below. And we can talk and start organizing something. I'm in Vancouver, so, you know, let me know. Anyways, you have a good day, all. Food for thought. Think about it. Start reading up on it, and let's get this done. Have a great day, all.